Happy Halloween! In today's video, I'm going to be showing you a 3D scarecrow that has some thread and some twine built into it. So the hair of the scarecrow is made with some twine that after you glue it down, you kind of fluff out to give it that straw-like hair. And then there's thread sewing the mouth shut. This is such a creepy, scary looking scarecrow. Scarecrow should be scary, at least, you know, I think. I think even the ones that are supposed to be cute are kind of creepy looking to me. Never really been a fan of them as far as being cute. So if I'm going to make a scarecrow, it's going to be creepy. I'm going to amp up the creepiness, give it some blood here and there, just really make it look sort of unpleasant and creepy for the Halloween season. I hope you guys love this design as much as I do, and don't forget to click subscribe to see all my future Halloween designs as well. Bye!
So we're going to begin by marbling black, gray, and a beigey brown acrylic together, which is such a shockingly beautiful marble. I wasn't sure how it was going to turn out with that particular combination, but I loved the result. So we're going to just marble those three together, and then after that's done, I'm going to encapsulate the nail with a layer of clear acrylic on top. When you're marbling acrylics and you're picking up a multicolor bead, I want to remind you that you should dip into the lightest color first and then into the darker ones. So for me, in this case, it was the light gray and then the beigey brown and then the black. And don't ever try to go black and then gray or black then beige, because it'll all just turn out looking black and you won't get a nice marble. It'll be kind of a muddy mess. So after the nail's been filed into shape, we're going to begin sculpting the burlap face with a cream color acrylic. You don't want it to just be white. White would be too pristine looking. You want something that's a little bit more neutral. After you have the first little bit of the face done, take a dotting tool and kind of sculpt out the eyes or carve out the eyes. And then on the side of the smile, you're going to want to do a whole bunch of little holes, 6 holes at least, into that upper lip area. And then you're going to take more of your cream color acrylic or beige or whatever color it is that you're going with, and you're going to want to kind of add some more height to the brow bone. Even though, you know, a scarecrow, like I said, is burlap, it's like a burlap bag that's got a face painted on it in most cases, we're going to make one that is a little bit more creepy looking. So we're going to give it some facial features that are more similar to a skull, which is kind of where those carved out eyes come in, and then that intense brow bone, and also just kind of building out the nose a little bit. You don't overdo the nose, but you want to add just a smidge of detail to that. I'm then going to also kind of carry up and sculpt in a little bit taller of a forehead. I didn't do that originally in the beginning for my forehead. I just wanted to, or, you know, when I was sculpting that first bit of face, I just wanted to mainly get the eye and the upper lip done so that I could carve in those details. And then I'm going to do the rest of the lower part of the face. Again, on the lower lip, you're wanting to take your dotting tool and poke the little holes in that area. Whatever number of holes you make, try to make sure that it is the same on the other side. So if you do 6 holes in the upper lip, you're going to want to do 6 holes in the lower lip. Continue that and attach them to the side so that you just are leaving the nice big smile, which in any other circumstance, the shape of that smile would be, you know, jovial, happy, but knowing how the scarecrow turns out, it looks so menacing, which is just kind of funny how if you were just looking at the smile, you wouldn't think that this was a creepy thing, but then it really is. We're going to take more of that same color and sculpt his neck on it. And I just want to say something quick, because every once in a while I look at the designs that I do and I think, well, why do I sculpt in these beautiful backgrounds and then just completely cover them up anyway? The main reason I do that is so that if you guys are watching this and you're doing this design and you're recreating it as part of a set, and it's, you know, the scarecrow is an accent nail, but you have the other 4 fingers, that background would be so beautiful to have on the other fingers. It just looks so gorgeous, and like kind of a cloudy, scary night is kind of what my goal was for it. I filled in the eyes and the smile with black acrylic, and then I'm going to take some brown and I'm going to wash over my whole scarecrow. Really kind of bring that burlap color out, add some shading on it, plus any details that you, any textures and details you sculpted in will benefit from that wash of black acrylic, or brown acrylic rather, because it will settle into those low points and really bring them out so that they're nice and visible. I'm going to cut 2 lengths of twine off of a skein of it, and then I'm going to kind of open and unravel one end. I'm going to paint some glue where I want that twine glued, and then hold it up to the side of the face. Using a tweezers, just kind of hold it down until it's glued. Some of the little individual strands from the twine may not get glued the first time, so just paint some glue on top of them and hold them down again. After you feel like the one side is completely attached, you're going to repeat for the other side, starting by opening up the end of the twine, applying glue to the nail, holding the twine to the nail just enough that it kind of sticks temporarily, and then really finishing it up by gluing it down a little more securely by really saturating the end of the twine with the nail glue. Once you have all of that glue done and it has fully dried, you don't want it to be kind of loose and sticky still. You're going to be sculpting his hat with brown and black acrylic. So I'm going to start out with black and sculpt the very top of the hat, kind of carving in a slouchy type shape to it. Once that part of the hat has been done, one thing that's just really funny that I can't get over is the way that the hair is still twisted. He reminds me of like a weird Goldilocks or something. It's just, I keep thinking that every time I see it. But then after you have the top of the hat done, you're going to take the brown and add the strap going around it as the trim. And then you're going to sculpt the brim of the hat on a nail form backing with black acrylic or whatever color you use for the top of the hat. Sculpt a nice curved shape, and then on the outside edge, you're going to just sort of carve in some little rips in it. Once it has pretty much been fairly well cured, not 100%, but maybe 80 to 90%, you're going to pick it up off of the nail form backing and place it around the edge of the hat so that it's kind of sloping down. And then after that brim has been held on there, you're going to just sort of secure it and finish it off with some more of the black acrylic, making sure that it isn't going to go anywhere. When the acrylic is that cured where it is still slightly bendy but pretty much is going to hold its shape, it's not very sticky where it'll just hold itself on either, so you do want to make sure you add another little bit of acrylic so that it isn't going to fall off. Cut off 6 pieces of a cream color thread and then glue them into the little holes or indents that you made on the upper and lower lip. So start either with just gluing the strands into the upper lip, letting them hang down. You can let them crisscross. So for me, since I did 6 holes, I have 3 sets of X's is what I'm making. So I'm going to make sure I glue all of those thread so that they're kind of going in the direction that they need to be, so that I'm not yanking on them too much when I go to glue them into the other side. I'm going to take just a tiny little bit of the brown acrylic and I'm going to apply that to the ends of each piece of thread to make the holes a little bit more defined, but also to hold the thread in place. And then once I'm done with that, I'm going to sort of eyeball and snip off the extra length of thread, making sure that there's enough that each piece will reach into the holes on the other side of the mouth. And then apply some nail glue to the ends of the thread, use my tweezers to place them into the holes in the lower lip. Do that again for the other X's, just making sure that each one gets glued nicely. As you're doing this, be careful not to accidentally get any glue on your tweezers. It's easier said than done. When you are trying to glue these bits into the nail, if they do get glued to your tweezers instead, it'll probably pull that piece of thread off and you may need to do that one over again, which isn't a huge deal, but just, extra time that you would have to deal with and a bit of frustration. Got one left to pick up and put into that hole. Once those are all glued down, apply that little bit of brown acrylic to the ends of those threads as well. And now we're going to be adding a little bit of detail to our Scarecrow with acrylic paint. He was looking really pretty good, where if you didn't want to, you wouldn't have had to do any acrylic painting on him. But like I said in the beginning, I wanted him to be really, really creepy looking and I wanted to give him some blood. So with some dark red acrylic and a little bit of a bright red acrylic too, I'm going to be just doing some bloody washes over his face, adding some black outlines here and there to define him slightly. It doesn't take too much. And then the other last final step for him is giving his hat a little bit of a woven texture. So I'm going to take diluted white paint and do lines in one direction and then go back through and do lines in the opposite direction, and then do just a little bit more of a red color on the ribbon around his hat. Apply some glossy gel top coat onto whatever background shows, which really isn't very much. After that's done, you can go ahead and cure that and then apply some matte top coat over your Scarecrow, trying to keep his twine nice. Once you're done with that, you can fluff out the twine and he is all done. And he just looks so creepy and so cool. I love the sewn shut mouth. I think that is my favorite element of this by far. I hope you guys love it as much as I do, especially if you're like me and think any Scarecrow is kind of creepy, even if they're supposed to be cute. And if you do decide to do a recreation, I'd love to see it. So please share it with me on Facebook or Instagram, and I will see you all next time. Bye.